Welcome. Seems eerily quiet tonight, doesn't it? It must be because Rennie's not here. Um, and yeah, Bob for sure. Before we start the meeting, a couple quick public service announcements. For an emergency, please note the exits on either side of the chambers and proceed down the stairs. Bathrooms are located out the door to my left, women's to the right, men's to the left. We allow 30 minutes for public speaking. If you have not done so, please sign up at the podium. Zoom speakers are only permitted if you signed up by emailing the city clerk by 11 a.m. today. If you did sign up, you must put your camera on so that we could see you before addressing the council. Please note that the council has rules of decorum for our meetings, including the public speaking portion. We ask that respect be shown to all, whether they serve on the council, on the staff, or are here as public members. As noted on the signage, we do not allow weapons of any sort, signs mounted on wood, metal, or similar material, or signs larger than 19 by 24. This will help guarantee that we follow the open meeting law. Not only are we here tonight to listen to the voices of the public, but we are also here to run government proceedings. To best serve us all, we cannot have any distractions. When a speaker is addressing the council, no disruptions are permitted. This includes talking over, yelling, and clapping. When this body proceeds with the day's business, we also need no disruptions. As per open meeting law, section 103, interruption of a speaker or government proceedings will not be tolerated. After one warning, anyone interrupting will be removed from chambers. I am now calling this common council meeting to order at 7:37 p.m. on November 6th, 2025. If you are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. May I please have roll call?
Alderman Pasty. Alderman Tierney.
Here.
Alderman Scott Childress.
Excused.
Alderman Edwards.
Excused.
Alderman Mickens. Alderman Dennison.
Excused.
Alderman Andrews. Alderman Shabbat.
Here.
Alderman Hirsch.
Great, we have a quorum. Can I have a motion to dispense with the minutes
Motion.
of the previous meeting and approve same? Motion by Steve Shabbat, second by Drew Andrews. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is adopted to 7-0. Can I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the general bills?
Motion.
Motion by Steve Shabbat, second by Tyrell Mickens. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is adopted 7-0. As council members, we get the pleasure to meet folks from throughout the city and from all walks of life. Throughout our service on the council, we meet community members who genuinely move us with their kindness and efforts to improve our community. Tonight, we recognize and honor a group who has gone above and beyond to serve and help others with the Common Council Community Award. We are delighted to present the Ulster County Community Action with the award this month. They were selected by Alderman Steve Shabbat, and at this time, I invite any representatives who are here from Ulster County Community Action to join Steve at the podium.
And this is really a pleasure to have Doug here tonight. And this will be my last award that I'm going to be giving out. Sad to say, this has been a really great part of the job, this is a perk, to get and stand up here and say something really nice about people. Every couple months you get to do this, and it's been a joy to do this. And I'm really proud tonight to give the award to Ulster County Community Action. I'm not going to go through the list goes on and on about things they have accomplished in this community. I'm going to say they are celebrating their 60th year, and just that alone so 60 years of doing anything is great, and they've done it with grace and style, and left no stone unturned, you know, as far as touching people in his community, to the tune of 10,000 interactions per year these guys make. I mean, that's an incredible amount of work to be done. I mean, so everybody is stressed to the limit. And I was very fortunate. I was on the board of directors for several years. I know what they go through all the time. And sadly, like a lot of organizations in this community, and Kingston has a wealth of giving organizations in this community, they don't get the recognition they deserve. And these guys are one of them. You know, people rarely talk about community action. So hopefully we can change that. We'll get a little more positive publicity going. Everybody is probably familiar with the Head Start program. I've been involved in the periphery of that with two of my old jobs, as a matter of fact. Great programs. They do weatherization programs, housing assistance, food distributions. They give food away, clothing, you name it, they do it. Pretty much everything. So I don't want to step on Doug's toes. Doug's going to say a couple words, I hope. So it gives me great pleasure to give this award to Ulster County Community Action. Right. Thank you for all your hard work. All right.
I will be brief to say, one, thank you very much on behalf of the community action that has found its home in Kingston and Ulster County for 60 years. Thank you to people like Steve, who served on the board of directors. Thank you to staff people for over 60 years that have done all the hard work to provide these services. And thank you to the people of Kingston that really have often stepped forward as volunteers and helped us. And thank you to the council for the recognition very much. Thank you. Thank you, Doug.
We now enter into the public speaking portion of the meeting. We have allotted 30 minutes for this purpose. Speakers will have 3 minutes. Please be aware that I will give a verbal 30-second warning. If there are remaining speakers after 30 minutes, I will call for a motion from the council to extend the period for another 30 minutes. Speakers, direct your comments to the chair, as council members cannot engage in debate during this time. Please state your name and address on the record before you begin. There could be no distractions from the audience in chambers or on Zoom when a speaker addresses the council. The Common Council has also received written comments for our consideration, and they could be found on the city's website under tonight's agenda. May I have the first speaker, please?
Bernadette, is it Dorsenbelt?
Good evening. Hi.
Before you start, can you just check that there's a green light on the microphone? Because I could hear fine, but I just want to make sure YouTube hears.
You want me to speak?
You're good.
Okay.
That's great.
Yes, my name is Bernadette Dawsonville. I am a parent. I'm here on behalf of teenagers. We are hurting. The kids are hurting. And I feel like the age 18 to 24, going to 25, it's a big gap that everybody's forgotten. They are lost. It seems to me they're invisible. Nobody see them. The rent is high. They can't work. They have no home. We have a lot of homeless teenagers up there. Winter is coming. That's what I come to plead before you all. They need help. A hotel is not helping them. They go to a hotel this night, the next night they go to another one. If they got a job interview, they can't go, no transportation. So I'm pleading with you all, they need help. They can only do so much. There's nothing for them. So that's why I'm here tonight. I've been fighting with Central Hudson for my electric bill last year because every winter I got a couple kids come to my house. I'm using electric heater. My electric bill was $3,500. I'm not coming here to asking. I'm just plead with you all. Those teenagers need help. We are talking about affordable home for so many people, but those kids born and raised in this city of Kingston, they have no home. They're homeless. And I'm asking for help for them, please. That's all I wanted to say tonight. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Charlotte Adamus?
Thank you so much. I'm Charlotte Adamus, 42 Josephine Avenue, Kingston. I'm here tonight to urge you to vote in favor of the memorializing resolution opposing the harmful impacts of the Trump spending bill. I'm also here to thank you for listening to us, to your constituents, to giving many of us who are new to this process faith in the system. It can work. While I have no doubt that all of us are in agreement that this spending bill will prove catastrophic for the residents of Ulster County, we did not start off in agreement about whom this resolution should be directed to for a solution. Should it be the state or the federal government? But I believe that this resolution in its current iteration should satisfy all of us. It asks in the interim for New York State to step in to mitigate the harmful provisions of the big ugly bill, but it also does not shy away from urging Congress to take action as well. I'd like to conclude with this. Some of us have understandably lost faith in the federal government and have put all of our hope on the state as the mechanism for backfilling critical funding gaps. But I believe the historic results of Tuesday's election, both locally and across the nation, should give us all renewed faith in the people and the courage to keep demanding better from our elected officials. And if they don't get the message, they will pay the price at the ballot box next fall. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Amy Shapiro.
Hi, good evening. My name is Amy Shapiro, and I live at 71 Shufelt Street. Professionally, I direct an educational program for the children of migrant farm workers in the Hudson Valley. This program is federally funded through the Department of Education and has been around since the Civil Rights Movement. When new families move into the Hudson Valley for agricultural work, we help them register their kids for school. We teach the parents how the school system here works, how to read their child's report card, explain what classes and exams their children need to take in order to graduate from high school. We give children school supplies upon first meeting them so they have what they need to be successful. We help kids with their homework, help them learn English, foster positive identity development. Their parents work long hours and do the work that none of us want to do, work that literally feeds us. Our program was defunded in the big, beautiful bill. The president's budget proposal stated, the budget eliminates programs that work to the detriment of children's academic success by encouraging movement from, rather than stability and consistency in, a single location. Yeah, that makes sense. Our program encourages parents to move so that they can get school supplies and some help with homework. Stacey Abrams says that in a democracy, you've got to show up. And if you don't show up, the people who want you to be silent are going to use your silence as consent. So I'm here tonight to share my personal opinion. I think the resolution should have stronger language that holds the federal government accountable for the suffering in our community. People in our community are already hungry due to their lost SNAP benefits. They're cold and don't know where to turn to without heat. They're suffering. Last week, the mom of one of the high schoolers in my program was taken at a court hearing and deported within a few days. She has a 17-day-old baby who is now here without her mom. Us people with privilege and resources need to stand up, speak out, and fight back. Otherwise, our silence is consent. I was particularly moved by something Mamdani said in his victory speech. To get to any of us, you will have to
30
get
seconds.
through all of us. I think that's the motto that Kingston should adopt. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Saoirse Maloney.
Hi, my name's Saoirse Maloney and I live at 755 Broadway. So one of the busiest intersections of Kingston is perhaps the roundabout where Broadway and Albany Avenue meet. thousands of cars travel past it, and there's a large, obvious brick apartment building there. It's owned by a property company called Neptune Associates, and they're based out of Brooklyn, and they own numerous multi-unit properties in 13 different towns and cities, not just Kingston. The building does fall under the EPTA rent reduction and stabilization program. However, none of the tenants have received a reduction or refund for the 15%. Besides that, many of the tenants, we've recently all started discussing this together. We found that the maintenance is really lacking in the building. Several people have moved out due to no heat over months. They had small children. The boiler systems are not being repaired by any licensed professional. The company has one super to maintain multiple apartment buildings, and he is supposed to do all of the painting, electrical, plumbing, heating and ventilation work, anything that has to be repaired in the building. He's the only person to do that at multiple properties in Kingston and just outside of Kingston. I myself have suffered from losing hot water in the middle of a shower several times. The super will come eventually and fiddle around with things, but nothing is ever really done. I've lived there since 2023, and I've never seen anyone besides him occasionally looking at things. I feel that a property owner that is so large should be held accountable for the things they're not repairing in a building, especially one in the center of town. It poses a risk to all the buildings around it and the tenants within it. These are people who live and work, and the children go to our schools. They shouldn't be without heat due to a property owner's negligence. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. That is the last person who signed up to speak. Is there anybody in chambers who has not spoken who would like to? No, then I will close the public speaking meeting, but I'm going to do something slightly unprecedented and take a 2-minute break for myself. So if you could just hold on for 2 minutes and we'll be right back. Did we lose anybody? Two. Thanks for allowing me the space to take a minute there. Okay, we are back in session and we're now entering into the report of committees, starting with resolution number 158. Oops, I got distracted there, obviously. Before we do that, we now enter into claims and communications. And hearing no discussion, they will be on file in the clerk's office. And can I get a motion to dispense with the second reading of the general bills and pay same?
Second.
Motion by Michelle Hirsch, second by Steve Shabbat. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is adopted 7-0. Thank you for correcting me there. We now enter into the report of committee, starting with resolution number 158, please.
Resolution 158 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing a budget transfer in the Fire Department in the amount of $8,303 for a new ambulance stretcher.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution number 159, please.
Resolution 159 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing a budget transfer in the Fire Department in the amount of $92,650 for new ambulance equipment.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution number 160, please.
Resolution 160 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing a budget transfer in the Housing Department in the amount of $202,064, supporting rehabilitation of 3 former city-owned homes via Rubco's Region Project.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 161, please.
Resolution 161 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing a budget transfer in the wastewater treatment facility in the amount of $90,453.01 to balance accounts.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 162, please.
Resolution 162 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing a budget transfer in the Parks and Recreation Department in the amount of $56,105 to balance accounts.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 163, please.
Resolution 163 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing a budget transfer in the Building and Safety Department in the amount of $100,000 for the demolition and removal of a structure at 97 First Avenue.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 164, please.
Resolution 164 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing a budget transfer in the Building and Safety Department in the amount of $4,237.17 to cover employee payout and the purchase of New York State code books.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 165, please.
Resolution 165 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the mayor to submit an application to the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation for a certified local government grant in the amount of up to $50,000 to hire a consultant to establish the city's first historic preservation plan and create citywide historic design guidelines and to execute any and all related documents.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution number 166, please.
Resolution 166 of 2025, a memorializing resolution opposing the harmful impacts of Public Law Number 119-21 of 07/04/2025 and recommending actions to be taken by the New York State.
On the question, Alderwoman Terrell Mickens.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to amend this resolution to reinstate a portion of the resolution's original language, specifically, be it resolved that the City of Kingston urges the United States Congress to replace the law's harmful provisions with a bipartisan approach that protects, expands affordable health care coverage, maintains and strengthens SNAP and child care supports, prioritizes middle and moderate income tax relief and small business growth, delivers real fiscal responsibility, and and further to include in this council's recommendations that New York State include the following language, that we include the following language directed at New York State. Resolve that in the interim, New York State must act swiftly to stabilize its municipalities by increasing aid, providing bridge funding, and temporarily lifting fiscal constraints. Therefore, the City of Kingston urges the governor and the state legislature to recapture, through fair state tax code reforms, windfalls to large corporations and the highest income households in order to mitigate federal cuts and cost shifts that would otherwise fall on local property owners, or property taxpayers, I should say, most of whom are seniors and working families. And further, the state must protect local services, prevent regressive tax increases, and uphold its commitment to communities made vulnerable by federal policy changes. To that end, the City of Kingston has made certain recommendations that New York State adopt, including the expansion of direct state aid, replace or backfill federal programs, provide financing and bond support, mandate regulatory relief, and incentivize cost-saving partnerships.
There is a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Sarah Pasty. On the question of the amendment, do we hear any discussion? Otherwise, I will call for the vote. This is to amend to what Alderwoman Mickens just read through. So I will call for the vote. All in favor to amend?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to amend adopts 7-0. We're now going to take a vote on the actual resolution, and you have the new one. All right, I'll ask Elisa to reread it, and then we'll vote.
Resolution 166 of 2025, a memorializing resolution opposing the harmful impacts of Public Law Number 119-21 of 0704-2025 and recommending actions by New York State.
On the question. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 167, please.
Resolution 167 of 2025, an ordinance amending an ordinance in relation to the traffic on the public streets of the City of Kingston, New York, amending the code, Chapter 390, Vehicle and Traffic, to add stop intersections on Colfax Place at Wilson Avenue.
On the question, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 168, please.
Resolution 168 of 2025, an ordinance amending an ordinance in relation to the traffic on the public streets of the City of Kingston, New York, amending the code, Chapter 390, Vehicle and Traffic, to add stop intersections on Garrison Street at East Chester Street.
On the question, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 169, please.
Resolution 169 of 2025, a memorializing resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, opposing fracked gas pipeline expansion in New York, including Enbridge's Algonquin Pipeline Expansion, Project Maple, and new and previously defeated pipelines, including the Williams Constitution Pipeline and Northeast Supply Enhancement Project Pipeline in New York.
On the question, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Just before I call the next resolution, we recognize that we're skipping a couple numbers here, but we had to get rid of a couple duplicates. So this is correct. Moving to resolution 172, please.
Resolution 172 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing adopting a bond ordinance for the construction of a new central fire station at 1830 East O'Reilly Street, and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents for the project.
On the question, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 7-0. Moving to resolution 173, a bond ordinance, so I'll ask for long roll.
Resolution 173 of 2025, a bond ordinance dated November 6, 2025, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of an additional $8,500,000 bonds of the City of Kingston, Ulster County, New York, to pay reconstruction and improvement costs in connection with the conversion of a building at 1830 East O'Reilly Street to convert building into fire station in and for said city. Alderman Mickens,
Yes.
Alderman Dennison,
Absent.
Alderman Andrews, Alderman Shabbat,
Yes.
Alderman Hirsch,
Yes.
Alderman Pasty, Alderman Tierney,
Yes.
Alderman Scott Childress,
Absent.
Alderman Edwards.
Absent. Ordinance is adopted 7-0. Moving to Resolution 174, please.
Resolution 174 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, recommending approval for adding Department of Public Works charges to the 2026 property tax bills.
On the question, hearing no discussion. Say that again? 6 what? Have I been doing that wrong all
Yes.
night?
It's 6.
And you're just telling me? I thought you were just doing 6-7, 6-7.
26.
Oh, hi, yeah, all right, that's. All right, all the votes taken so far
Yes,
have
6.
been 6-0. Apparently, I cannot subtract. So I apologize that, and, yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad you said something. I was like, she was including herself.
It's okay. I just like threw out the number 7. I'm like, that sounds about right. So thank you.
Yes.
So we read Resolution 174. Does anybody need it reread? All right, and I will get my numbers correct this time. On the question, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 175, please.
Resolution 175 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, recommending approval for adding Building Safety Division charges to the 2026 property tax bills.
On the question, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 176, please.
Resolution 176 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, repealing Resolution 130 of 2025.
On the question, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 177, please.
Resolution 177 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the adoption of a bond ordinance to match the sum of $4,861,111 NYSEFC Green Resilience Grant Award for safe and accessible Flatbush and Foxhall Avenues.
On the question, hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 178, another bond ordinance. So I'll ask for a long roll, please.
Resolution 178 of 2025, a bond ordinance dated November 6, 2025. An ordinance authorizing financing of green resilience improvements to Flatbush and Foxhall Avenues, Phase 1, in and for the City of Kingston, Ulster County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $4,861,111, and authorizing the issuance of $4,861,111 bonds of said city to pay costs thereof. Alderman Dennison,
Absent?
Alderman Andrews, Alderman Shabbat, Alderman Hirsch,
Yes.
Alderman Pasty, Alderman Tierney,
Yes.
Alderman Scott Childress,
Absent?
Alderman Edwards,
Absent.
Alderman Mickens.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 179, please.
Resolution 179 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the adoption of a superseding bond ordinance for the sum of $10,800,000 for Flatbush Foxhall Sewer Rehabilitation Project.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 180, another bond ordinance, so I will ask again for a long roll.
Resolution 180 of 2025, bond ordinance dated November 6, 2025. An ordinance authorizing the financing of the Flatbush and Foxhall Sewer Rehabilitation Project in and for the city of Kingston, Ulster County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $10,800,000 and authorizing the issuance of $10,800,000 bonds of said city to pay costs thereof. Alderman Andrews. Alderman Shabbat.
Yes.
Alderman Hirsch.
Yes.
Alderman Pasty. Alderman Tierney.
Yes.
Alderman Scott Childress.
Absent.
Alderman Edwards.
Absent.
Alderman Mickens.
Yes.
Alderman Dennison.
Absent. Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 181, please.
Resolution 181 of 2025. Another typo. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, determining that the Roundout Creek Public Kayak Access Project is a Type 2 action under seeker and does not require preparation of determination of significance.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 182, please.
Resolution 182 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York affirms and assumes its role to serve as lead agency for the Kingston Point Wetland Restoration and Public Access Improvement Project.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 183, please.
Resolution 183 of 2025. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, reappointing Emily Hauser to the Ulster County Environmental Management Council to represent the City of Kingston.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 184, please.
Resolution 184 of 2025. An ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, amending Part 2 General Legislation, Chapter 390, Part 2 Traffic Regulations to add Article 14 Automated School Speed Zone Enforcement Program.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution number 185, please.
Resolution 185 of 2025, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, amending Section 39052, Speed Regulations, Schedule 13, School Speed Limits to reflect hours of speed limits.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to Resolution 186, please.
Resolution 186 of 2025, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, adopting the portion of Fashion Lane from Thomas Street to Cornell Street as a city street.
On the question, Alderwoman Michelle Hirsch.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. There's some procedural things that need to happen with this resolution, so I would like to make a motion to send it back to committee. Thank you.
There's motion and second by Michael Tierney. Any discussion? Then I'll call for the vote to send this back to committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, aye.
Opposed? Hereby sent back to committee, 6-0. Moving to the second reading and vote of local law number 7. Sorry.
Local Law 7 of 2025 of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the adoption of the 2026 budget with a tax levy that exceeds the amount allowable under the New York State Property Tax Cap Law.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Local law is adopted 6-0. Moving to the first reading, therefore no vote on local law number 8.
Local Law 8 of 2025 of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, amending Chapter 376, trucks parking of.
That concludes our communications. Before we conclude our council meeting, I'll open it up. I actually have 3 people I would like to close in memory of, and quite personal. So if you could bear with me. First, I'd like to close in memory of Peter Boyle, who I just found out today passed away. He was KHS graduate of 1969, graduated with my mom. So I've just found out today. I'm sorry that didn't think about it until I was thinking that I shouldn't have told you like this. Or you shouldn't have found out. Like, yeah, I found out like a couple hours ago that he passed. Yeah, I knew him. He went to school with my mom, but he also was active at Fair Street Church when I was the organist for many years, and he played guitar in the ministry music group, and he was always just really, really a kind man, and I was very fond of him. So I'm very sorry. Really? Yeah, I think it was just maybe, yeah, last night. Sorry, Steve. I'd also like to close in memory of a way too young person, Johanna Bergenon. She went by JoJo. Steve, you might remember her or this back in 2018, the Common Council, the beginning of the year, was considering a memorializing resolution on gun safety that Rennie brought forward to us. And it was right after a school shooting. And the Common Council partnered with some kids from Kingston High School. I think they were all girls. Joe was one of those members, and they came, spoke, kind of understood the process of government. The night of the meeting, they came over to my house, and I gave them tips on how to, just public speaking and how to, just get comfortable. And then afterwards, Joe felt kind of shadowed me a little bit just to learn a little bit about leadership. And I was very fond of her, and she died unexpectedly at the age of 24. She had a 4-year-old son, so it's pretty devastating. And then I would also like to close in memory of Roseanne Noble. Of course, we all know her from the Common Council as Jim Noble's wife. Roseanne was a devoted public servant working at the Ulster County Department of Motor Vehicles. She began her career in 1966 as a paperwork examiner, and she advanced through the years, eventually becoming a senior cashier examiner, assistant to the supervisor, and ultimately deputy county clerk. Roseanne also gave generously to her community, serving on the Kingston Housing Authority, was an active member of the Ladies Ancient Order of Herbarians, and was a volunteer and board member of the Hudson Valley Senior Residence, among many other community service projects. Roseanne was a very devoted family woman, leaving behind her beloved husband, Jim Noble, former Common Council president, 2 children and their spouses, and their 4 grandsons, who both Roseanne and Jim just talked about constantly. So I send my love to Jim and the family, as I'm sure we all do, but I would like to ask Steve, because he knew the family well, if he would like to add a few words about Roseanne.
Yeah, I would definitely like to add something. I've known Jimmy since we were 5 years old, probably. I've known Roseanne since before they were married. We've always had a good relationship, but I don't know, I was really struck by the fragileness of life when I heard that she had passed. And even though I've known her this long, I was flabbergasted by the amount of things she was involved in this community and never said a word about it. I had no idea 3/4 of these things that she's been doing that she did. So it's a credit to her that she does them certainly without looking for recognition. But she was really nice, quiet person. Sorry to see her go. Sorry for Jim's loss and his family. Very tough.
Thanks for adding that. Does anybody else have? Michelle?
Thank you, Madam President. The person that I'm closing in honor of tonight is not from Kingston, but he spent a lot of time here. Is Michael McKee, who was a major tenant organizer in the New York State tenant rights world. He actually created some really strong legislation throughout the state, and he just sorry, I'm just getting my notes. So he succeeded in extending rent regulation to other parts of the state, and it's why we have it here in Kingston. He was instrumental in making that happen at the state level. He helped protect seniors and the disabled from onerous rent hikes in New York City and limited landlords from charging market rate rents. From the 70s to the 80s to today, his brilliance, persistence, and vision shaped every major tenants' right victory in our state. He spent a lot of time in Kingston, and I think that, and he also got to know a lot of tenants here in Kingston and help train our tenant organizers on how to navigate the ETPA and navigate DHCR and filing complaints. And because he spent so long working in that world, and he was very, very well respected. And thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I would like to congratulate everybody who won their elections on Tuesday. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to working with you again. But at this point, I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Terrell Mickens and second by Drew Andrews. All in favor? Opposed? We hereby stand adjourned until the next regularly scheduled meeting on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Thank you.